Welcome, everyone. You are tuning into Engaging Walk. My name is Drake.
And my name is Rubie.
We believe in the power of walking together and talking together.
It is a simple act to stay connected, and movement is key.
This week, we will discuss this concept of finding new activities together as a couple.
And how you and your significant other can take time to make deep connections.
Yeah, so this time we took, again, we're kind of like bouncing off of the Engaging Walk we did last week. So last week, we did a lot of engaging walking. When we took Boba to the dog park in Balboa, and afterwards we took a walk ourselves with her, but primarily for ourselves at Balboa Park in San Diego. Again, that's really close to the San Diego Zoo. It's a spectacularly beautiful area, filled with a lot of things to do, a lot of places to see. The Japanese
garden,
San Diego Friendship Garden is really beautiful, and
there are tons of museum in there.
Yeah, really, really beautiful place. If you're from the area, definitely check it out. So we're going to dive right into the content for this week, which is finding new activities to do together.
And we're going to discuss the first thing first is why is it so important to find new activities together? So by doing new things, Drake and I, we did kind of two things new since we get married. Like a pottery
we did a pottery class. It was like using clay to make your own pottery.
Yeah, and then the other one is a rock climbing. And the reason is important because we get to see each other doing something new. So this is my first experience that with my spouse, which is Drake. So it's very special and it's very unique. And also, I get to see how he responds to new experience. That he also get to see himself in that too. So it's like a fresh, experience for both sides. And it's very cool. You learn something new about your spouse and yourself at the same time, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you're finding new activities to do together, even if it's something that you've done before on your own, doing it together as a shared experience builds new memories and builds new connections between you two. And those potteries that we made, those items that we made during that pottery class, that was for Rubie's birthday, and we still have those.
Yeah,
we keep them in the house. Those are souvenirs that we have from that experience, and then
we have sweet memories about it too, and funny memory about it too.
Yeah, it was super fun. Yeah, and I think if we were just discussing this earlier about advice that we would, because we were very involved in our church, and advice that we give to younger people. And then some of the advice that we give to younger people, one that I would say is I think that the world nowadays is designed to make, especially men, eager and confined to their bedroom or their room, their apartment, and to engage in video games and to give all their energy to that and go on that conquest. And there's some really fun games that you can really get into, but that's not a substitute for going out in the world and accomplishing great feats and learning new skills.
Yeah.
So, you go on those side quests in your video game and you're like, oh man, I just learned archery. Well, what's from stopping you from learning archery in the real world?
Yeah.
Or what's from stopping you from learning hatchet throwing, axe throwing, or any other skill that you might have wanted to have picked up. There's nothing stopping you from doing that with your spouse, because you never, and even things that you didn't even know that you might want to do. Like Rubie's really great at finding Groupons for us to do things together, and you might have, neither of you have gone to go fly a kite before, but you go to the class and you're like, wow, there's a lot of into flying a kite. I didn't even know. And now you two have a new favorite hobby.
Yeah, that's true. And so for me, when I come up with new ideas, usually I just, we have a list of, new things that we want to do. And then from that, we just find options. And like Drake mentions, coupons. And for me as a Navy spouse, we have so many MWR, but also all the different organizations like USO that create opportunity for us to just have a date night together and they have like a dive in where you watch a movie and in the pool, and it's all for free. Is that amazing?
Yeah, the Credo special,
And
episode
Credos,
3.
yeah, and then also painting and drawing. Sorry, painting and drinking.
Yeah, sip and paint.
Sip and paint. There you go. Yeah, so they have multiple things that you can find on Facebook, and if you're a Navy spouse, look for the group MWR or some Facebook for Navy spouse specifies on activities, amazing things for free, and yeah, that's What about you? How did you come up with the pottery and other things that?
Well, Rubie is a really talented painter. She's not like painting like museum pieces, but
No.
like for me, my level of painting is stick figures. God gave me the gift of music, of expressing myself through sound, but He was like, hey, you know what? Visual stuff, I'm not going to give you any of that.
Not
You got
true.
stick figures,
Not
and that's all I'm
true.
going to give you.
Not true. Again, we need to discover our talent. You never know. You may be surprised.
So Rubie, I've seen her paintings, and I was like, well, you know what? I know, like she has fun painting. So let's try something new. Let's try something that neither of us have done. So that was how I came up with the pottery class, and she did great. She made really great pottery. Rubie's really great at visual arts and making things with her hands too, as I learned. So I think one of the things I've learned about people is I can tell when people have hobbies and interests outside of just like watching Netflix by how they carry themselves and if they have like interesting things to talk about. Mm-hmm. And I think like if anything, it just gives you something interesting in your life to do. And it might cost you like a couple $100 to do something new. You might do like design boxcar racer or
kickboxing
or boxing or whatever it is that your town has to offer. Luckily we live in San Diego where there's so many wonderful things that we can do, and like we have plans to go do paddle boarding and surfing and things like that, like water sports that maybe people that live in landlocked states might not have the opportunities to do so easily.
Yeah.
But there's things that are probably in your town that like you've never done before that might be the new great interest that you and your significant other get to share, and that is a new experience that you might love. It could be a martial art.
Mm-hmm.
Rubie and I do a little bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu sometimes in the in our apartment, but it's not really fair to her because I've been doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu for a long time. So she has triangle choke.
Is different. Yes.
She's roasting me already. The weight difference. Oh my goodness. But those are things I think that you can discover when you go on an engaging walk. Actually, so maybe go to like your busy part of town and be like, hey, we're going to do our engaging walk this week. We're going to talk about a schedule for the next month or how we've been doing with connection and date nights.
Yeah.
And we're going to plan out our date nights as we go on an engaging walk this week. And you go through your town and you just look around and see what kind of shops they have.
Uh-huh.
And be like, hey, you know what? They got a Krav Maga school over here. I didn't even know that. Let's do some Krav Maga next week. Let's just do the intro class and see if we like it.
Yeah. And I think for me, because I'm very habitual and I don't like new things, but Drake will be the one that dragging me. No, let's try this. Why not? And then, so I think be flexible, be brave, and embrace new things, and you will have fun. And part of it, just like as being intentional, you will have fun along the way, and learn more about yourself and your partner. And just build when we do new things, we actually build the storyline of our marriage. And so be creative, be fun about it,
There's a lot of fun things that you can do out there. I remember, just going back to this idea of you never know what will be your next new thing that you fall in love with. And like that new time when you fall in love with a new activity is like is such a refreshing period in your life, especially if it's
sure.
something like really healthy.
For sure.
Like
Yes.
I'll just do like a quick little story about like how I got into rock climbing. That was just like a by chance thing that like I think I might have seen something on TV and I was like, you know what, rock climbing sounds really fun. Like let me go try doing some rock climbing. And at the time, I was probably around the weight that I am now. I was probably like around, I don't know, I can tell you the number, but I was overweight, overweight for where I should be. Because I had been doing martial arts. I did martial arts. I did Muay Thai, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, mixed martial arts. And I got injured. I got a really bad injury, and I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't do it to the extent that I was doing it. So not having that physical outlet, had that with a little bit of lack of discipline in terms of what I was eating and my diet caused me to gain some weight. So I gained some weight, and then I was like, you know what? Let me try doing something that might not be so bad on the joints because I was having problems with my ankle. I broke my ankle. So I was like, yeah, rock climbing sounds like it'd be like low impact, like you're tied to a rope. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm not going to fall. If I do, the rope's going to catch me. I'll be fine. So I went to the rock climbing gym, and I did it, and I was like, wow, this is like such... I just did the intro level class. I was like, this is such a crazy workout. And then I was like, man, I never even I thought that I had a great workout from mixed martial arts. Like the level of strength that I developed through rock climbing was on a totally different level.
I think it's just different muscle, right?
It's different muscle, but I could never do finger push-ups. I mean, pull-ups. I could never do finger pull-ups when I was doing mixed martial arts, but after 6-8 months of rock climbing, I was doing finger pull-ups. Like finger pull-ups with just my fingertips.
Wow.
And it was like...
Can you do it now?
No, I'm fat.
Just kidding.
She roasted me earlier. But yeah, so that was I was like, and then I got to like such a peak physical condition, and I was, and my core balance, it got to a new level, and not to mention the friends and like the lessons I learned about being able to control and balance your body. If you haven't done any rock climbing before, I'd highly recommend it. And then, yeah, that became a new love of mine. And then me and my brother bonded so much over rock climbing. And I was like, hey, bro, you got to come rock climbing with me. And he'd come out. And then he was like, this is so much fun. Because it's a physical exercise, but it's also a mental puzzle.
Yeah.
Because you have to mentally figure out how you get up there.
Yeah.
Because there's body movements that you can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. And you have to figure that out. And then Rubie and I went, was it back in March?
No, I think it's I don't remember. It's February.
It might have been February, January
January,
went.
yes.
And I'm overweight. So I'm supposed to be I'm supposed to be around 160, 170. But let's just say I'm not that. I'll probably closer to 200. Let's just say that. So I'm 40, 50 pounds overweight. And I talked to the guy at the, so mind you, back when I was rock climbing with my brother, I was doing some serious level rock climbing. I was doing, for those of you out there that know rock climbing, I was doing 512s, V6, really, really high level rock climbing. Not world class level, but nothing to sneeze at rock climbing. So the guy at the counter was he's like, have you rock climbed before? And I was like, oh yeah, I used to rock climb all the time. And he kind of looked me up and down you?
Are you sure?
I was and I looked at him, I was like, yeah, dude, I rock climb, man. I used to do lead climbing. And he was like, all right, just totally didn't believe me. It's not with that gut, bro. You're not doing any lead climbing with that gut. But I showed Rubie how much of it is technique.
Yeah.
Because even with being 40, 50 pounds overweight, I'm still able to climb decently.
Yeah.
So just a story to share about how just stumbling into a place might be a new fantastic experience for you.
And then to add on to that, because I'm afraid of heights, and I'm not very good at rock climbing. But then with Drake experience and knowledge, he encouraged me to go certain way, and so together he helped me where where his strength is, and that not my weakness. And we kind of like have a very good experience.
Oh, yeah.
A learning curve for me to overcome my fear, but then having you as my comfort and safe place to bounce back. And I remember I took a challenge where he finished the route and then he came back and then I tried. I think
No, she's glossing over something. I had to trust her.
Wait, what?
I had to trust her with my weight on the
that's
rope.
right.
That was a
Yeah.
big thing for me too, is trusting all 200 pounds of me on that rope. And Rubie's only like 100 pounds. So she's got to hold me on that rope. And I was like, all right, Lord, I hope she's got me because I'm way up here. And if
Well, I'm a very good base person. Okay.
Well, yeah, but
I-
just go back to that. But I just wanted to highlight. I just wanted to go into something that she just glossed over real quick.
Yeah, and then he showed me that, okay, Rubie, it's your turn. So I look it up the routes. I'm like, there's no way I can jump that far. But so I tried 3 times and I dropped. Remember the I think the yellow route.
Mm-hmm, yeah, the yellow one. Yep.
And then
Pretty sure it was a 5'9" or 5'8". Pretty sure it was a 5'8".
yeah, 5'8".
Yeah, pretty sure it was a
And
5'8".
Remind you, this is my first time.
Very first time.
Yeah, rock climbing. And so I tried 5'6". I did it, and then 5'7". So slowly my confidence built up. And then so we're looking at 5'8", and I fell 3 times in a row. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna try anymore. But then but Drake, it's just encouraging me and also pushing me to like try it again. I went a little bit higher than the points that I dropped out last time, but that's it. Like I can see it's what I'm trying to say is like you can get to see your partner like a team work together to tackle the challenge. So I think by doing new things, you get to do so much more with with your partner and discover yourself. And I can see myself like, I have that fear. I need to like work on that.
Yeah, I think a fear of heights is normal, and just having those fears in general are normal. And it's a matter of just like being patient with yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
And
But
and
not
overcoming them.
But don't handicap yourself from that challenge. At least.
Oh yeah, Rubie didn't. She climbed all the way up to the top on a lot of the on many of the courses. It's also just like a mental challenge.
Yeah.
Because you're doing something new, it's new, and then you get to see like, okay, how do we work together as a team to tackle a new problem?
And then how you be encouraging and supporting each other on the other side. Like I've tried new things and I fell down, but then Drake said, like, you did great. Go on, keep going on with this. And, and he threw some tips for me. So I think that's a great teamwork that you can do with your partner. And you cannot do it without doing new things,
Right. Yeah. So this week, speaking of that, we would like to come up, our assignment to you to come up with 3 new activities for you and your spouse or your significant other to do in the next 3 months. They don't have to be like huge things like going rock climbing. They could be things like, maybe go rock climbing, but also cook a new dish together. Or
take a dance class.
And then see what's on Groupon. And or on like MWR, things like that. Just take an engaging walk in your neighborhood or your downtown area and see what's there. Whatever it is that catches your fancy, check that out together and let us know about it in the comment section. So with that, we want to thank you guys for tuning in, and we want to make sure that you guys take our engaging walk and make it your own.
And stay tuned for next week's episode when we will discuss about growing faith together.
That's going to be a really important episode, growing in faith together. So don't forget to click the follow button to make sure that you don't miss it. And follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook. Yeah, make sure you hit that follow button. Let us know how we're doing in the comments, and things that you like, things that you'd like to see. And with that, this is Drake and Rubie with Engaging Walk.
Signing out.